There's a critical window in the first few minutes after we wake up, a time when our brain is highly plastic, highly suggestible. What we feed our mind during this phase doesn't just shape our mood, it influences our focus, our productivity, and even our hormonal balance for the rest of the day. The words we say to ourselves, silently or out loud, aren't just thoughts. They're instructions to the brain. Today, I want to offer 5 specific phrases you can say to yourself each morning, 5 cognitive tools grounded in neuroscience that help regulate your state, your behavior, and ultimately your outcomes. The first, I am in control of my mind and my focus. This isn't just a motivational statement. When you say this, you activate the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for goal-directed behavior. You are signaling that your attention is yours to command, not something to be hijacked by distraction or emotion. Second, my actions today shape my future. Dopamine, the molecule of motivation and pursuit, responds to progress. By reminding yourself that today's efforts compound into tomorrow's reality, you activate your drive system and align your actions with long-term outcomes. Third, stress is a signal, not a sentence. Your body's stress response was designed to help you act, not to trap you in anxiety. By reframing stress as information, you can respond with precision instead of panic. This simple shift activates the anterior cingulate cortex, which helps you detect errors and adapt, a key to high performance and resilience. Fourth, progress, not perfection. Your brain grows through repeated effort and error. This is the essence of neuroplasticity. By aiming for progress instead of flawlessness, you reduce the fear of failure and increase your willingness to engage, experiment, and improve. Finally, I am grateful for one thing right now. Gratitude is not just an emotion, it's a nervous system regulator. This statement shifts your physiology by lowering cortisol and enhancing serotonin. It's a simple but powerful way to create internal safety and shift your focus toward what is working rather than what is lacking. These 5 statements aren't just nice things to say, they're strategic interventions. If you commit to saying them each morning, deliberately and with intention, you'll notice changes in how you think, feel, and act. You are not at the mercy of your environment. You are not just reacting to your day. You are training your brain every single morning to respond with clarity, direction, and purpose. Certainly. Here's the expanded version of key point 1. I am in control of my mind and my focus. Written in the thoughtful, neuroscience-grounded, yet practical and composed style of Dr. Andrew Huberman, without naming him, and seamlessly flowing as part of the larger speech. It maintains a calm, authoritative tone and concludes with a sharp, impactful line as requested. Let's begin with the first and perhaps most foundational phrase you can say to yourself each morning. I am in control of my mind and my focus. This isn't just a positive affirmation, it's a neurological statement. When you say these words, especially early in the day, you're not just setting an intention, you are activating specific networks in the brain that play a direct role in how you perceive, decide, and act. The brain wakes up differently than the body. Your heart might be pumping, your muscles ready to move, but your cognitive systems, the frontal cortex in particular, take a bit longer to come fully online. That's why those first few minutes after waking are so important. They represent a window of high suggestibility and high plasticity. What you say to yourself during this time doesn't just color your day, it quite literally teaches your brain how to operate. When you tell yourself you are in control of your mind and your focus, you are engaging the dorsal lateral prefrontal cortex, a region involved in executive function. That means goal setting, impulse control, and selective attention. You're priming the neural circuits responsible for agency, your ability to direct your thoughts and actions in a meaningful way. Now, control doesn't mean you won't be distracted. Control means when distraction arises, you don't follow it blindly. You acknowledge it and you return. That's real focus. Not the absence of noise, but the decision to keep returning to what matters. And every time you make that choice, you strengthen those pathways in the brain. You're literally training focus like a muscle. The more you bring your attention back to center, the more automatic that return becomes. And here's something else. Your environment matters, yes, but your interpretation of that environment matters more. Focus isn't just about blocking out distractions. It's about selecting what deserves your energy. It's about deciding in this moment what you're going to prioritize and then sticking with it. You can train that, you can build it. And it starts by reminding yourself every morning that you are in the driver's seat of your mind. Physiologically, when you declare control of your focus, you begin to shift your brain's neurochemical landscape. Dopamine, for instance, responds to anticipation and intention. So when you say, I am in control, you're already triggering the motivation circuits because the brain now expects agency. You're signaling, we have work to do, let's go. That's a powerful shift to initiate first thing in the morning, before the inputs, before the opinions, before the outside world attempts to steer your internal state. There's also a downstream effect. When you start the day in control, it changes how you handle obstacles. Small annoyances don't get amplified. Distractions become less tempting. You're more likely to make decisions that are in alignment with your long-term goals because the circuits of deliberate focus have already been engaged. You've reminded the system, your system, who's in charge. And this isn't just psychological, it's structural. The brain adapts to what it repeats. If you allow distraction and chaos to dictate your focus every morning, your brain will become better at distraction. But if you assert control, if you build the habit of self-directed thought and action early in the day, those neural pathways strengthen, and eventually that becomes your default setting. Not reactive, responsive, not scattered, centered. That's why this statement matters so much. It's not about pretending everything is okay. It's not about ignoring difficulty or emotion. It's about anchoring yourself in a place of intentional awareness where even the hard things can be approached with clarity. And it's from that clarity that all progress begins. So each morning, before the noise gets loud, before the outside world starts to push and pull, say it out loud or in your mind, I am in control of my mind and my focus, not because the day will be easy, but because the way you begin it will determine how you carry yourself through it. That's the shift. That's the signal. That's the start. And over time, that filter becomes your default. People often assume that mindset is something you decide once, but in reality, it's something you condition daily. Just like physical strength, mental and emotional strength is earned through repetition. That's what this phrase is about. It's not a feel-good idea. It's a daily discipline. It's about taking your chemistry into your own hands by choosing the lens through which you interpret the world around you. You may not be able to control everything that happens today, but you can control how you begin. And if you begin with gratitude, real gratitude, you alter your brain's chemistry in a way that makes you more resilient, more focused, and more present. You give yourself the best possible chance of moving through the day with clarity and strength. So tomorrow morning, before the emails, before the meetings, before the demands start pulling at your attention, stop for just a minute. Think of one thing, just one, that you're truly grateful for. Breathe into it. Let that experience rise up through the body and settle in the mind. Because that moment doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how your brain fires, how your body functions, and how you move through the day ahead. Gratitude changes your chemistry, and that changes everything.